right, Gorilla Banter Podcast. Another beautiful day. In studio, Brock Washington, Dylan.
Howdy.
Matt.
Hey there.
And on phone call today, video through the magic of technology, Mr. James Spurgeon. How you doing today?
The man. The legend.
The legend, yeah. Right.
Yeah, well, you had a video go viral just to go ahead and kick that off.
Yeah, this last year was the first year for disabled anything, actually. Any kind of disabled adaptive, whatever the hell you want to call it, competitions at the Arnold. And so they did a disabled strongman competition, and everybody liked watching me toss some stones up on some 55-gallon drums with one arm.
Well,
I don't know that it was necessarily they liked seeing you do it as much as it was the facial expression of a straight-up warrior doing it. That's what I noticed. I was like, gee, look at this dude.
It was something special.
Well, the shitty thing is that I had gotten that 200-pound stone before at a Highland Games competition back in, I think, 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like that. I think the summer of 2015. And so these stones that we had there were like coated in dust, and I didn't use any tacky, so I lost the last one.
And that was just like pretty much a normal everyday glove that you were wearing off the shelf, right? It wasn't.
That was a receiver glove. I cheated a little bit, you know.
It's not cheating; it's legal.
You said 200-pound stone?
Yeah, they were. The first one was like 170 or something, 180 maybe. The second one was 190, I think, and then the third one was 200, and then went up to 220, and then the last one was I don't know, 250 or something like that.
Let's clarify the disability with one arm.
Yeah, and actually I don't have any use of the other arm at all, so I can't use it as like a, I can't brace it on the stone or anything. I actually have to lap the ball first in a kneeling position and then stand with it. I don't know. It's like
with a good bit of torque on your outside knee. I also noticed, like your knee.
It actually, believe it or not, the most torque's in my ankle.
Oh, okay. Just that outside.
Yeah, because I kind of have to like slide. It's a work in progress, but I mean it's only 200 pounds, so it's not really
only 200 pounds that you have
only the size of a man in a small ball.
Just a person.
Only the weight
That's
of a
all it
small,
is.
Yeah.
Just have to roll it up.
Well, I mean, I guess it's relative. I mean, I've been training now I've been competitive since 2012. Yeah, 2012 was my first powerlifting competition, and I did that all in multiply gear. So I benched single-armed in a multiply shirt.
Nice.
And at the time, I think I was maybe benching 135 raw, maybe, and I think I benched 180 or so in the shirt. And that video got posted by a friend of mine, Gracie Benes. I don't know how to say her last name. She's a fairly popular female powerlifter out of California now. She used to be over here with Westside Barbell and stuff in Ohio. And she's the one that gave me that nickname, the one-arm bandit thing.
The one-arm bandit. Yeah, we was going through your Gmail account and it popped up one-arm bandit.
I kind of changed that slightly. I changed it to more one-arm power as my handle.
Yeah, that's your Instagram handle, right?
Yeah, it's my Instagram thing, yeah. Okay. But anyway, yeah, the stone thing is quite sensational.
No, I mean it's nice, and actually, I think it's gotten some double share because I saw it off of a Facebook page called Mr. Jiu-Jitsu. I don't know if you ever heard of that guy, but he runs a jiu-jitsu page that has motivational stuff. And when I first saw it, it was through that, and then I traced it back.
Yeah, he shared it.
Yeah, I like the video I posted on Facebook. Got shared. I mean, the last time I looked at it, I think it was at like 5,200 times or something like that.
That's
something
awesome.
ridiculous.
No, it's
and then on top of that, it got shared, various amount of times through other people's stuff that I wasn't tagged in or whatever. So
yeah, and that's a fun thing about analytics that we run into running our page is that you sometimes realize that there's a whole branch that you don't get a track of how far
right.
things
yeah,
go.
Absolutely. I mean, I think my video got up into the million views or something like that, and then I seen another guy's with 1 million views on it, and I I have no idea.
Well, I've seen your video get shared quite a few times.
Yeah. All right, so let's rewind in history. Let's go back to like
Right.
19-year-old James. What was 19-year-old James doing? 20-year-old James.
19-year-old James was I think I was a corporal in the Marine Corps at the time. Yeah. So I worked for, the unit I was attached to was basic BVRC, Basic Vehicle Repair Course.
Mhm.
It was the school battalion at Camp Pendleton. So Amphibious Assault Schools Battalion. Yeah. And,
Teaching boys how to fix trucks and stuff, right?
yeah, it's a amphibious assault vehicle, so it's like an aluminum tank that floats.
Cool.
But for the
Sorta.
water.
Because
And-
Marine do it on air and land and wherever it needs to be done. Actually.
Right. I mean, it's basically a troop carrier now. The whole amphibious assault thing, I think, is pretty much.
Symmetrical warfare has gone by the wayside for sure.
Yeah, there's. I don't think anybody's doing that these days. So,
Okay.
but that was from 2000 to 2004 was my military service.
All right, and then what happened after that? Just walk me through life.
All right, so at that time I was doing all the martial arts, the Muay Thai and everything, and I got out in 2004 and got a job with Mazda North American Operations out of another base. Funny enough, back up where my parents live, and I worked there for a while. Got into street bikes and stuff. My kickboxing coach Ken Rose was all into this, and kind of just followed him around like a like a disciple.
Who doesn't, right?
Yeah. He's a former NFL player too. Played for a few of the teams. He was I think he played special teams as a lineman, or no, not a lineman. Sorry, shit. I can't remember.
Linebacker, maybe?
Whenever you said lineman,
Yeah, linebacker. Thank you.
Linebacker.
whenever
They're
you said
still an
lineman,
athletic
I was
savage.
thinking a lineman kickboxer. I could not
No,
imagine.
yeah,
know his name?
linebacker. Yeah, he's about six. He's about the same height as me, 6'2", about 250.
Yeah. Still an
still-
Alistair Overeem type.
Yeah,
That's a big guy.
Ken Rose. I mean, he looked just. I mean, Alistair Overeem for sure.
Yeah.
God.
So the heavy bags were trees, right?
Yeah,
Y'all just went out
Yeah.
and kicked trees. Today
yeah.
we're
You
going to
got
kick down the
you
forest.
got the half sledgehammer. You're bashing your shins and stuff.
Oh no.
How is all that? I've never done anything like that, but I see a lot of Muay Thai guys that are really big into the shin conditioning.
I think the best thing to do is just to kick a heavy bag or a banana. A 6-foot bag full of sand.
Yeah.
I got the best shin conditioning out of that.
Yeah.
Because it's not like pinpointed where if you use like a dowling or something and you roll your shins, you get a bunch of like pinpoints.
Yeah.
Whereas if you kick that leather bag full of sand, it hurts like hell because it's hard as shit, but it does the same thing.
Even all the way across.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Shin conditioning just looks miserable all the way around.
Oh, it's
Like, just-
awful.
Just horrible.
Anybody who says otherwise is just kidding themselves.
Yeah.
That's just their brainwashing to get motivated
Yeah,
again.
absolutely. They're like, oh, I'm supposed to like this, so I'm gonna.
I have to
fuck
go
up my
kick this
chin.
shit.
So is it and this is more of my curiosity, is it more of a tolerance for pain that builds, or is it kill the nerve endings? Because I've heard two different things.
I don't think nerve endings necessarily die. I don't know. I mean, it deadens it so that it doesn't give you that sharp reaction anymore.
Okay.
It still hurts like shit. I mean, I
Yeah.
kicked a dude in the elbow, and I was fighting a guy in like Chatsworth in California, and I kicked him in the elbow. Didn't realize it till the end of the fight, and I start walking out after the third round, and I like step down and almost crumble. And I look down on my shin. There's this golf ball sized knot
Ooh.
hanging off my shin. I'm like, what the hell is that? And I ended up having to roll that out with a water bottle full of ice. That fucking sucked.
Yeah. Ouch. All right.
Yeah, so-
you're doing MMA, basically.
Yeah.
He's kickboxing.
Yeah, well,
Shit, a
no,
little
I was a stand-up. At that time, it was weird because like we all had this chip on our shoulder for the whole MMA thing, saying it was kind of like the cheap way out. Because like I mean, it doesn't hurt when you get hit from the ground. At least for me, it never really did. It was like you can't develop any power unless you're on your feet. And I liked kicking the shit out of people, so I mean I was all about round kicks and front kicks and all that crap.
No, I understand that.
Well, MMA wasn't where it is today, then.
Which is funny because now, I mean, you know, the MMA thing is the style has adapted from just like the street brawling kind of garbage that it was back in the day, and you know, now it's an actual, like, I would consider it a martial art on its own, you know, rather than like people that say, hey, well, I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and I'm an MMA fighter. Well, you kind of just train MMA.
Yeah, there's very
You know,
few
like-
specialists left. You know, the Damian Maya type, or the, you know, they're rare and few and
You
far
got a
between.
couple of karate guys still around.
You do have some occasional karate
Wonder Boy,
guys.
but Wonder Boy's got to do wrestling, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, I used to watch K1 a lot, and the Koyukushin karate was huge,
Yes.
you know? And that, to me, is just Muay Thai without punching people in the face. Really, when you look at it fundamentally, when you get into a ring, if you're standing, you're going to kickbox, right?
Yep.
I mean, that's basically what it is. If you're allowed to punch to the face, or if you're not, or you're allowed to use elbows or knees or not, I mean, it's fundamentally still that style. So, I mean, you can call yourself whatever you want, but when you get in the ring and you're pushed into that, you know, that specific instance, you're going to adapt to what works best. And that would be kickboxing or whatever,
No,
you know, so.
very, very much right on there. So you're doing all this, and then what? What happens in life?
All right, so back in 2006, so working for Mazda, I had some perks. I basically got to drive around in an RX-8, brand new one, for you got some crazy deal when you were an employee. So like my lease was like, I don't know, $200 or something, like something really cheap for back then. And so I was driving that, and I had it parked up at my apartment, and I had to move it for something, and I was just in a hurry and didn't follow like the proper procedures for when you start it up, because it's a rotary motor. You had to like let it run for 30 seconds or something like that before you turned it off, or it could flood.
Yes.
And I didn't do that, and so the next morning I had no choice but to ride my bike to work. And after work, when I was coming home, was when the accident happened. So yeah, it was pretty circumstantial, I guess. Kind of weird how it all happened. For the accident, I don't remember any of it. I hardly remember that day.
Right.
And then I don't remember like a week or so after that. I had a pretty bad head injury, concussion and stuff, swelling and all that crap. So the police report is what I can recite to you. But apparently I was coming through a four-way intersection with 3 lanes. One was a dedicated left turn lane, and the other 2 were straight. And I was in the middle lane, and there was a semi-truck in the turn lane going the same direction as me. And then the guy that ended up cutting me off was coming the opposite direction in that turn lane. So he couldn't see, and took a permissive left turn without being able to see. And I happened to be coming right there. I was even going under the speed limit, which was 50, I think, on the road, and I was going about 45, according to the police report. And so the truck came in, and I like low-sided the bike somehow. I don't know. I guess I hit rear brake and, you know, slid the bike out. And the whole front end went into the rear axle of the truck, and then high-sided me like a catapult. And launched me like 60 feet or something through the well, they found me 60 feet down the road, I guess. So I flew through the air and landed on my head, and then that caused the nerve damage to my neck. So, which the brachial plexus nerve root cluster, whatever you want to call it, I guess, has like, I think it's 5 nerves that come out of your neck, and they bundle, and then they go down and they innervate your arm. And I think the worst type of injury you can have to nerves is an avulsion, which means they get ripped out of your neck. So like they disconnect from the actual spinal cord, so they can't like reattach them or anything because they could mess something else up. And I have 4 of those avulsed, and then 1 stretched, so they can't really fix it. And then, you know, you get chronic nerve pain for that forever, which is awesome.
Right. Something that keeps you up at night, huh?
So you hit the ground
Right.
so hard it ripped the nerves out of your neck.
Yeah. So like, I guess I came down head first on the asphalt, and my head went
God.
one way and my shoulder went the other. Yes, I mean, there really isn't any good explanation why I'm still alive, but
The Viking blood.
Yeah.
pretty much, yeah, I guess so. I broke the truck and slightly broke myself,
What?
but
What?
luckily, Thor saw fit to give me a spare. So
The Allfather was watching you.
yeah, the Allfather. I have a
Quit
spare arm.
stoking
We're good.
Matt.
Oh, I'm loving this. Keep talking.
Yeah.
So what this could be is a commercial for whatever freaking helmet you were wearing. What?
Oh yeah, so that's a good point. So the helmet, you know how you guys ever messed around with a full face helmet visor and all that
Yes.
shit?
Yeah.
You know how hard it is to pull that off when you like unscrew it, right?
Yeah.
Mine popped off
Oof.
when I hit the ground. Yeah.
Man, we're talking about some forces here. I mean,
Yeah,
like straight up.
So I was wearing leather jacket that was armored, and then I was wearing riding jeans, so they were extra thick. I actually had no road rash,
Look at
Right.
that.
So
but I broke my neck
The-
or my nerves or whatever.
the biggest part of the bicycle, or the bike when you get thrown is the fact that you're just a human at that point. It's oof.
Yeah, you want to go limp. That's what you want to do. Just so you kind of go with the.
Right.
Yeah.
Just break fall.
Don't fight it. Don't fight it. You get fucked up worse.
Is it break fall or break throw?
It's a break throw
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah, it's a break throw.
The break fall. Yeah.
All right. So you
Maybe
wake
that's
up.
what I did. Maybe I came in and I did a shoulder roll when I hit, so that all I did was rip the nerves out.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
it.
I mean, well, no telling at what point was you actually knocked out and all that. I mean,
No, the swelling and everything was so bad. I don't remember, but I was awake the whole time,
yeah.
Oh, really?
His
Yeah,
Superman
'cause,
kicked
like-
in. He was ready to
Well, yeah,
run
I was-
away, and
screaming at everybody to cut my arm off because it hurt so bad. I guess.
oh, I could imagine. I mean, yeah, because like you're talking about the chronic nerve pain, but at the moment of inclusion like that
Yeah,
actually
that's
coming
right.
off. Oof.
Yeah. So, and then the vehicle actually ended up being an unmarked police rescue truck that cut me off. I mean, I don't blame anybody about it. It's
You've made
everybody
your-
makes
Grum,
it was an accident. He wasn't doing anything like negligent, other than the fact he took a turn without being able to see. But I mean, people make mistakes. Get over it. It's all good.
Look at that.
I'm good. I'm alive.
It's a
I
good
walk.
attitude.
yeah.
Yeah. So.
So you start remembering things a week later, is what you're saying. Like after the hospital.
Yeah, obviously now I have the chronic nerve pain too, so my memory isn't the greatest anyway. But so in the hospital, apparently for that first week, I was asking what happened. I was repeating the day each day, and then after that, it was like nobody really knew what was wrong because at the time there was no imaging software or any, the MRIs and the CAT scans and all that crap couldn't see nerves because
And
they're
this
too
was
small.
2000 and
2006, right?
So
At this point.
2006, yeah. I don't know what the tech is now, but I know then they couldn't. The CAT scan, or I'm sorry, the MRI couldn't see the nerves because they're too small.
Yeah.
So they couldn't see what the actual damage was. And so we ended up, my family and I, we got with a bunch of the medical schools around. So, UCLA, USC, Stanford, and then some of the larger clinics like the Mayo Clinic in Rochester. Started talking to all of them about what, if anything, there was that they could do. And we ended up at the Mayo Clinic a year later, like 2007. And they had told me that they could do, that they would cut me open and look. And then during that procedure, they would do a muscle transplant so that I could have some function out of my arm and some nerves stuff. So basically I'm kind of like Frankenstein, just with my own parts. They took a muscle out of my left leg, gracilis. So that's like your fourth abductor, I think.
Mhm.
And they put it in my right arm and then redirected some arteries and then took some nerves off my ribs. And so did a bunch of crazy shit. And, so I can flex my arm into like a 90-degree angle. Yeah.
So like,
So it's like having a prosthetic basically. So
that's so crazy. You never, I mean, you always see people like going through operations and stuff like that, but you never imagine it to be as like Frankenstein-like as you explain it right there. We're going to take your leg muscle, we're going to put it in your arm, and we're going to take your rib.
Well, it's even worse whenever you actually see the procedure being done. They are not gentle.
Yeah, that's the other thing is to realize.
So what they told me was that there isn't anything more invasive other than like bypass surgery. So I have like something like 7 feet worth of scarring on my body from it.
Mm.
Yeah, none of that was from the accident. It's all secondary stuff.
Right, it's all to try to bring back some form of function.
Hey, but you got that 90 degrees, right?
Yeah, I'm right, I do.
That's just to get the arm out of the way so that the other one can do all the...
Pretty much, yeah, so I can flex it and get it out of the way.
Hell yeah.
Now, I seen the other day you doing some one-arm rows. Like, you're bent at like a 90-degree angle with these pretty big weights. There's like wagon wheel weights.
Oh, yeah. My friend came in and he's a pretty good photographer, came in and did some pictures of that. Yeah, those wagon wheels are like 45 pounds.
Yeah.
So no big deal, just $135, yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well,
I don't want to hear it.
My one arm row hanging without doing a pendlay row is about $225.
That's ridiculous.
So every number you give me, I double it in my head
Yeah.
to think of what it would be.
Well,
with two
okay,
arms.
so, that's actually a good point because the last competition that I did was the America's Strongest. What do we call it this time? America's Strongest Disabled Athlete, because we couldn't use adaptive because we got shit on by the adaptive athletes, I think,
Whatever.
or something like that. They said we couldn't use that word because it was theirs.
What the hell's the difference?
it's my word.
Yeah,
It's
That's
a
so
it's a
stupid.
group of
I mean,
people with a very similar goal.
it just kind of pissed me off really because the whole this has nothing to do with making money in my opinion. It's so that we can I just want to better my the life of myself and anybody else who is disabled or has some kind of disability that they think that is they can't get past. So
Goals and stuff.
Well, okay, so
Yeah,
let's
goals
talk
and
about
stuff.
that. I mean, this injury happens in 2006, and you said, I wrote it down because, a short pencil works better than a long memory. You said you started competing in 2012.
yeah, 2012. So
let's walk through that
I went-
6 years.
So obviously after getting hurt and going around for that year looking for some kind of answer, it put me in more of like a waiting thing, my mindset was I'm just going to wait for it to get better. Like it's going to get better. I'll just wait. Right. Well, that kind of carried on past when I was told it's not going to get better. And so it took me kind of a long time to, figure my own shit out. And, I don't think I was ever really like super depressed or anything like that, or like suicidal or anything crazy. But I was very retracted from like reality. I was kind of in my own little world, and they tried to give me some drugs and stuff for nerve pain, and it ended up making me feel like a vegetable. So I stopped taking that shit, and I just got in that waiting thing, and when you're all about using your hands and you lose that
Because you're always a mechanic, right? You've always been
yeah,
a mechanic.
I was always building shit in the garage, I was pretty artistic too. I did a lot of that, and I did all the martial arts stuff, and everything was like outdoors. So that was pretty rough losing that. And the thing was, I thought I lost it, but I didn't fucking lose anything. I just didn't realize that I could do it all just with the one arm. So yeah, I turned my own wrench on my own car in my garage still.
So were you dominant right-handed?
I was right-handed too. Yeah, I went through all of that as well. Like that was
What's it like now? I mean, are you as good with your left hand as you were your right?
You know what?
Over the
It's
years?
weird. Is actually I'm better at some things than others. So
Really?
like I feel like I have a little bit more finesse with my left arm. Like I can play ping pong better with my left arm than I ever could with my right. But I can't throw a baseball for shit.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you've ever. There's a MythBusters episode about throwing like a girl. I don't know
Yeah.
if you've ever seen it. That's a great
Yep.
episode of showing that if you hand a ball to a male or a female when they're young, they both throw it the same way. It's not until like later
It's
on.
learned.
Yeah, they just
Yeah.
learn to keep torquing and torquing and torquing.
Right. Which is something else that I've totally picked up off of this is like anything it's just learned. Like you guys could all write with your non-dominant hand if you just practice. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And the thing for me was the reason why I picked it up so quickly was because of necessity. Like I had no choice.
Yeah.
Right.
So
It's like
necessity is the mother of all invention.
right. What's
know,
that thing
that's-
about the best way to learn a language is
Right. You want to eat a
Don't
piece
live
of
there.
toast with some peanut butter on it. You better figure out how to do that with one hand. Like.
I didn't
Yeah.
spend much time on it, but whenever I had my right shoulder operated on, I was stuck using my left arm for things. And just in 2 months, I was really surprised at how much better I got with my left hand, going from not being able to get those pieces of corn at all to actually having a little bit of
Yeah.
rhythm.
Yeah, I mean, it's a necessity at that point. You need to eat.
Yeah, you don't have
so
a
you're gonna
choice.
figure it out. Yeah, so I guess so after all like kind of the waiting and stuff, I ended up moving to Ohio with a ex-girlfriend. She got a job out here, kind of came with her and stuff, and which is weird that it happened that way because Ohio is kind of like the hub for powerlifting, for strength sports, for all that stuff. And I had no idea. I'm from Southern California originally, and like I never heard of powerlifting really. Like I mean, I know what weightlifting was, like I seen some Olympic lifting stuff, but I had no idea there was this huge powerlifting world out there that, everybody competed in and stuff like that. And so I kind of ran across that here and made some pretty good friends here that helped me get into that. Cause at the time when I started powerlifting, I was about 190 pounds. So they all thought I was some crazy person who was, I think most of them thought I was an undercover cop at first. The first gym I was at.
Yeah, and you're
so-
you're 6'2", right? That's what we said. 6'2", 190 pounds is where you started.
Yeah, 6'2", 190 pounds is where I started at the Dog House in Columbus, Ohio. That's where I started powerlifting. And it was basically a gym real close to a jail. So
So that's
and a lot of like the former West Side guys
Popping up.
were there, like Chuck Vogelpohl and I don't know, a bunch of the other guys that just kind of came through there. I don't know, he's a pretty famous powerlifter, so
Yeah.
but yeah, so I started picking up stuff there, and I basically, from what I weightlifted a little bit in the gym before that for a couple, like I think maybe a year or two before I even started the powerlifting thing. And I just basically came to a realization that, just with the arm thing, I just had to try everything, and eventually I'd figure it out. So, like, the benching was weird with the bar at first, I couldn't figure out how to set up right. I'd fall off the bench and all that shit, and figured it out, and finally, so now my best bench is 190 pounds at a full meet with a pause and a commands and all that. Yeah.
And no shirt, you're saying? Like
Yeah,
just
no shirt.
raw?
Yeah, that was raw. Yeah.
so
So
what I was thinking when I first saw you and I heard your story, I assumed that you were a powerlifting guy that had an accident, lost his arm, and kept powerlifting. No, you're a guy that lost his arm and then started powerlifting with one arm. That's fucking crazy to me.
that that's kind of funny that you say that though, because I think it was actually better that way since I had nothing to compare myself to
Right.
Yeah.
before. Like, I'm not like, oh, well, I was so much better before when I had the other arm. Because, like, I tried to do some Muay Thai after I got hurt, and it was hard because I knew I was so much better than that. Like, I didn't have every tool at my disposal then.
There's a little mental block there.
Yeah, it was it was hard. Like, I did some grappling too, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and stuff like that. I mean, and it was just tough trying to. It always came back to, oh, well, I used to be able to do it like that,
Right.
But versus something that's brand new to you, and so
Yeah, this was brand new, so I built it all up from the ground, and so it's. I can't compare myself to where I was before because I never did it. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I think it's helped me a lot that way.
So
Absolutely.
I used to powerlift and bodybuild. What did you have to do any special? Like did you have to use bands or anything on your bars to get the stability muscles in control, or was
No,
there
see,
anything special
I think
there?
one of the best things about all that is I didn't have any of that stuff to start, so I had to figure it out without it.
Yeah, he didn't know. Yeah.
Right, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like I know that
And I mean,
I know what I had to do to get my stability muscles under control, and I was using both arms, so I can't even imagine trying to do that with one arm.
yeah, there's a lot of torque in your core that I had to work through. Like when you bench, you twist, when you do it with
Right.
one hand. So,
And that's what I'm getting at.
yeah, when you squat, when you deadlift, everything is torsion on your midsection. So I just kept at it and got stronger, and then here I'm sitting here now. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
now,
awesome.
how much are you paying attention to spine health with all that, due to the fact that everything is kind of this?
You know what? Everybody's headed toward a wheelchair someday. I'm going to live how I want.
I love it. I love it.
Hey,
Savage. That's what I'm saying.
He just shut you down, Brock.
He didn't shut me down. I'm leaping for joy.
Here
I'm
he
all
comes.
for it.
Brock's gonna
You know,
wheel
I
in
get
the...
that. I was going to say that earlier too, because my video actually got reposted yesterday on gym memes, I think, on Facebook, and some guy posted, "Yeah, that's awesome and all, but his back's going to be messed up in a few years."
Fuck that
And I'm
guy.
like,
Yeah, no, I was just wondering if it's something you do, if it's part of the routine. I mean, I imagine
I mean, I have
flexibility
some-
and stuff is.
I have some lower. I mean, I'm not gonna. I mean, my elbow hurts. Everything hurts. Still,
Yeah, I mean,
obviously, that's
it's
just
like
the way it is.
jiu-jitsu. You don't walk
But,
off the mat not hurting.
The stronger, yeah. So you can either be weak and in pain, or strong and in less pain. So that's just my.
That's
thing.
very true. That's very
My
true.
hero.
Yeah, I mean, so when I started doing this powerlifting stuff is when I ran into Chris Bell, right? Yeah,
Really?
yeah. Well, the how much you can bench guy, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I love Chris Bell.
Yeah. And no, I'm not Chris. Sorry, Mark Bell.
It's still
his
cool.
brother.
Still cool.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
He's still happy.
That's still awesome.
And he posted something online that like really resonated with me, and that was some guy on a web on an email or whatever, in a blog or whatever, said that you should ignore all the pain in your elbow and all this stuff to Mark Bell, because he was still working out when his arm was hurt and stuff, and he said those things like, everybody's headed toward a wheelchair anyway. You might as well live how you want while you can.
No, I mean, they're words of
Yeah.
wisdom. I mean, that's
Yeah.
and I think we can all say it to be true. I mean, Dylan, he was talking about his shoulder. He had both the
Labrum.
shoulders were tore,
both
the
of
labrum.
the labrums, which is what holds your stability and everything else. Both of those were shredded, and I didn't even realize the right was shredded until they did another MRI.
And we were in Kuwait at the time, and he actually did a tournament, a combatives tournament, Army combatives tournament, which is jiu-jitsu, with that torn labrum. And there was a lot of people at the time that just could not understand why, we were still training for this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it's one point in time. You're never going to get that chance again.
Right. And I
Might as
mean,
well-
He was about to get a new one anyways.
well, no, it opened up the chapters for his life, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
You got a spare.
yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. And actually,
Exactly.
that's exactly what kept happening. So
Yeah, I don't know. This is what I want to do, so I'm going to do it.
that's just it. That's it. You only get
Get
you only get so many passions in life, and when you find a passion, you shouldn't dismiss it. I'm very much of that opinion. And I mean, what you're talking about, I mean, it almost is like, you had the choice of sitting down this is a sad point in my life, but you kept forward, and per happen chance or per fate or whatever it may be, you walked right into the mecca of what something that ended up being something you love,
Yeah, I don't understand that to this day, how that happened, but that's exactly right. It just, it just ended up here. And then, from that, like a lot of things changed though. Like I got strong physically, and then that helped me get a lot stronger mentally. And then I ended up going back to school, getting a degree, getting a job, buying a house, all of that stuff. Like it just compounded on top of itself.
Domino
All
effect.
from lifting weights. So yeah, the meathead turned his shit around.
That's it. Well,
Right.
I'm a big I'm a big proponent that life is hard. Every point of existence, no matter who you are, it should be difficult because I think we're forged by fire. I think the way the prefrontal cortex of the human is designed is to be forged through fire, to have stressors, to have, I mean, you went through a boot camp. I mean, you know what I'm talking about when you see people crack and then you see people made.
Oh yeah.
And
we had a couple guys sitting on the squad sitting in the middle of the squad bay, just refusing to train or whatever.
Oh yeah. And you're like, okay, 10,000 years ago, he wouldn't have been here,
Nope.
But he's in a nice little coddled society now, so he just gets shipped back home.
I'm pretty sure they got tossed over the edge, right? They didn't even make it to the Agogi.
Oh yeah,
right?
Well,
they just chucked those crappy babies right over the freaking.
That's right, like a spark
over the cliff. Nope, not gonna work out. Sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, and I think sometimes people forget how tough life has been for humans for so long, and how adaptive humans are meant to be. But it's only because you exercise it, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
adaptation is something you.
I mean, you don't, you lose it. That's what automation is doing to our race now. I mean, the whole human race is losing adaptation because of all of that.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't have to do anything. The program will take care of it.
All right. There's a truth to that.
Sweet.
I think stories like yours are a prime example of the underestimation that doctors would give to patients and things like that.
I do. I'm glad you said that because it's like doom and gloom when you walk into the freaking doctor's office with this kind of shit. They're like, "Oh, you'll never be an athlete again. You'll never, you're never going to do this, that, or the other thing." And I'm like, bullshit, I'm not. You watch.
Exactly. I spent a whole year. I did both of my shoulder surgeries back to back and both of the rehabs back to back. And I was with an Army doctor, so I'm in an Army facility. And every time I get in the elevator, there's a old staff sergeant or an old master sergeant that would look over at me and they'd go, "Oh, shoulder surgery, huh? Yeah, that'll never be the same." And and being as respectful as I could, I'd shrug my shoulders and say, "What the fuck ever." Like I knew what I had planned, and I knew what I was gonna do.
I'll just make it better.
Exactly. I knew what I was gonna do whenever I finished my rehab, and everybody's hammering and hitting. You won't do this. You're not gonna do that, and you just gotta let that shit over your shoulder and know what you're capable of.
You can't listen to the naysayers. If we did, we wouldn't have anything in this world, man. All those couch warriors that are just so negative and fucking angry about nothing.
Exactly. And
literally, the next day, everything could be taken from you.
And not even that. Like, I think the worst thing, and not just the couch warriors, but it's the good soldiers or the really motivated people that have incidents happen and they let that tear them down and they let that be the end because everyone else said it was going to be the end.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't claim to know how I was able to get through what I got through, but I mean, it's one step at a time, I guess.
You didn't give up.
You have to say, fuck it. I'm not gonna pay attention to any of this crap. I'm just gonna step out the door. We'll see what happens.
Hell yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned about the whole like doctor thing and like your shoulders and everything. I had this. I got to go to a little seminar by Brian Shaw. He was in town obviously for the Arnold, and we got him to come to our gym after that. I don't know if you're familiar with Brian Shaw.
Yeah,
World's Strongest Man, obviously.
Yeah.
Or 4 times.
I just watched him win he won this last year, didn't he?
He won the Arnold and the World's Strongest Man back to back in 2016. First time in history.
Yeah, so I watched the strongman competition.
Yeah, so anyway, he's in there telling us his story and everything, and he's like, "Yeah, I tore my bicep deadlifting, and then I had surgery and everything." And then he's like, I did all my rehab, I came back from it. Now that bicep is stronger and doesn't hurt, and my other one does. Like his one that he had surgery on is actually stronger than the other one. So like,
he got a pretty big injury.
The same, yeah, you're just going to be better.
He got a pretty big injury again just during one of these last competitions, didn't he?
Yeah, World's Strongest Man this year, he tore his hamstring, I think.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It went on the farm walk. I can't
Farmer's
remember.
Walk.
Farmer's Walk.
I well, none of it's been aired yet, so I'm not really sure. What I heard was it was the deadlift that he tore it on, and then re-injured it doing his stones at the end there,
Oh, okay.
and still managed third place with a torn
That's
hamstring.
ridiculous. That's ridiculous, man.
Manly man.
Yeah, it's bad. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the
Yeah,
thing
so-
about, guys at that level are pushing the body to the limit. I mean,
Well,
tendons
they went
to
past
the
it.
limit. Yeah, I mean, it's just like NFL athletes. I mean, when sometimes they like rip a hamstring off the tendon, and you're like, have we even thought about what he's talking about here?
And they
Yeah.
look gross. Anytime someone rolls a muscle up, it's disgusting. I've seen it.
But I mean, it's beautiful.
Sounds like a pair of shit, like a window shutter or something.
I've never heard it. I've seen it.
Yeah.
Never
Yeah.
heard it. I don't want to hear it because it rolls up and it looks like a weird, like chicken nuggets and a saran wrap thing. It's weird. I don't like it.
He doesn't do well with visually seeing an injury, by the way. He quickly his stomach turns.
I can handle blood and gore, but anything like muscles ripping up and seeing it or bones, just not happening. But
Just-
once it comes out of the
when your-
skin, for
when-
some reason,
When
whenever
your
it's out of the
bicep
skin,
retracts up into your shoulder.
I've seen it and it's disgusting. It's interesting if it's gross.
show him a video of
Yeah,
a jiu-jitsu guy
pretty-
breaking his arm. He just about throws up,
See, the thing with Matt, and we'll go ahead and expose it now, is he's got a deep-seated hatred from an experience he had when he was like 4.
Two.
2, 3, 4. He was somewhere in there, and what'd you do? You broke your femur?
I rolled my femur in half.
And so he was like all casted up, and he had just learned how, he was just potty trained, and then they took that away from him.
I was in a body cast. It was
So what you're
horrible.
saying is you're sour toward your broken leg for
Pretty
all that.
much.
Yes, and so like the rest of his life is spent hating broken bones. He's like,
Terrible.
So Frank Mir snapping whatever dude's arm at the UFC
yeah.
was pretty nasty then, huh?
The Anderson Silva break's always the grossest.
oh, the leg break.
Yeah.
Oh,
he
the
wraps-
leg break. Yeah,
that
yeah,
one,
yeah.
You wrap
Yeah.
it around like
I
I
a
mean, in
band.
slow mo, you can just watch that thing fold right around the other dude's
No, it looks
leg.
like a rubber
Almost
band. It's
helicopter,
Jello.
you
I
know,
hate
just-
it.
that's actually surprisingly common in Muay Thai, isn't it? Doesn't
Yeah,
it?
absolutely. I saw that. I saw that long time ago. My kickboxing coach showed me some. I forget who it was. The guy. He knew the story about the guy. He like had a hairline fracture on his shin. So I guess that's what usually happens. Like you have some kind of fracture, pre-existing fracture,
Yeah.
and then you go into the fight and you kick and you get blocked and it breaks it completely.
Yeah,
Well,
that was the first like mass showing of that to average fans.
Well, the
'cause-
American population.
Yeah, 'cause
yeah.
everybody-
That was live, wasn't it?
Yeah, pay-per-view live, and it was a big fight card. It was the rematch, so it was one of the bigger pay-per-views at the time. The thing that kills me is that it almost
rubber
helicopter
leg
spins. Just almost.
It almost touched itself. Like that close. I've seen it over and over and over again.
Oh yeah. It's pretty good.
See, you
not
should
good.
totally
I,
check kicks.
You know
I
what's
should just
funny is
never
like,
kick.
I never was afraid of any of that for whatever reason. Even after seeing it, it's like I don't know. You're not gonna be able to prevent it if it happens. You might as well.
Right?
The way Muay Thai fighters throw their kicks, anyways, is ridiculous because it's all hip, and then the quad
yeah.
and then the quad comes in too.
They keep
Yeah.
everything in that tight
It's not-
box.
It's not like karate where it's just a lot of that's just the quad coming
Yeah.
in.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
all
No,
hip.
there's no snapping in the
They
foot there.
open up-
That's all
They
follow
open up the
through.
hip, and that's it. It's either I'm going to kick through him or I'm going to miss. It's one of the two.
Since we brought it up, and we're talking about some vicious kicks and some vicious Muay Thai, we got Jose Aldo versus Max Holloway tonight.
I got Aldo.
I got Aldo.
Holloway.
No. Holloway's going to come in, and he's going to he's going to get counterpunched till tomorrow.
I think he's going to get counter kicked till
He's
tomorrow.
going to wake up Wednesday going, I was in a fight, right?
I think he's going to get soccer. I think that Aldo's just going to soccer kick his legs over and over again.
No,
with
I
those
think
soccer
it's going to
feet
be
he's
the
got.
same thing that happened with Frankie. Max is
wait,
going to
hang
open
on,
up trying to throw them big punches.
What do you think, James?
You think
You
he's
know,
going to
I'm-
enjoy a fight?
I've kind of lost track of the whole thing. Like I'm still back watching. I'm still back watching Conor McGregor talk shit to Aldo. Like I don't even know what's going on now.
You're a couple
Like,
of years back.
I don't. I'm lost in all of that, man. That's
Yeah, he's got a
for whatever
baby
reason
now.
that's captured my attention. So, but I've only seen little bits and pieces of the UFC now lately because I kind of I don't know. lost interest after kind of not training so much anymore.
Yeah.
So I couldn't give you a good. I'd have to watch them both, and then I'll tell you.
I respect that. I respect that.
Aldo looked good though in his last fight.
Yeah, he did.
I like that James is going to be extremely upfront and honest, because I'm not about to sit here and bullshit about what I know about powerlifters.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I haven't kept up with that for a while now.
I respect that.
I catch everything like after the fact now.
Man says he's busy
I'm
lifting
still
weights.
watching all the
Exactly.
bullshit with Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
I didn't watch all of the Nate Diaz stuff though, for whatever reason. So
Because everyone loves Nate.
That was good fights.
yeah, those were pretty good. I wonder sometimes like how much how much the drama is real versus how much it's just
I'm pretty sure if Nate's involved, it's all real.
Yeah, he
trying
can't.
to.
From everything I've
Well,
ever
I mean,
met
I know
of
it's
him,
real, but like how much of that is just built into their psyche to try to sell a fight? You know?
Oh, with Connor's 100%.
with
with
Conor,
Conor,
it's
it's
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
100%.
all.
With Diaz, I would say it's growing up on the wrong side of Compton.
Oh yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. He's a reactive guy, totally.
Yeah.
He won't talk shit unless somebody's talking shit to him. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And that's the beauty of him. Nicest guy you'll ever meet, by the way. Nicest guy. The moment you open your mouth to say something negative, it just goes all out the window.
Stockton.
yeah, yeah.
So I,
You know what though? It seems like it's been like that for everybody I've ever met though. Like Rampage is like that pretty cool dude, you know, but has this like nasty persona, you know, and I don't know.
So I'm gonna dive back in your world for a second. So with powerlifting being what it is, and then you see guys like Rich Froning and the whole CrossFit craze, I guess that's what we'll call it. What do you think about whenever you see CrossFitters lift? And I'm not talking about your corner CrossFit, but like the actual pros, the guys that know what they're doing.
All right. So first of all, I mean, I don't necessarily consider myself a power lifter. I'm more of an athlete since I'm doing strongman, powerlifting, Olympic lifting, I
Okay.
mean, Highland Games, all of that stuff, right? So for me, CrossFit is just, it's like an athlete's lifting thing. And what I find funny about CrossFit is the fact that it's existed as, you know, high impact interval training in the Marine or in the military forever. Like I did CrossFit back in the day without knowing what
Before
it was.
it was called CrossFit.
Yeah, it was called, hey, we're going to go run this shitty 2 miles in the sand, and then we're going to do some push-ups, and then we're going to swim a little bit, you know, and then we're going to do some pull-ups. Oh, CrossFit.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I respect those guys for sure. I mean, there's no doubt that requires a level of athleticism that any pro athlete would have to succeed like Rich Froning. I mean, you know, that's a true athlete in my opinion, but I think it's been bastardized though in some of like the lower level CrossFit gyms where they have coaches that
Yeah.
shouldn't be coaching and they're having
that's the
their
problem.
students do things that they shouldn't do.
That's where I was going
Or-
with that too, because
Yeah,
you hear
I mean,
a lot of the
to me, that's
Crossfire.
what it is. It's like CrossFit has this bad persona because of all the, you know, the bastardizing that's been done to it. And, you know, I mean, what are you going to expect with such fast expansion?
Yeah,
I mean,
like anything
I'm sure
else.
everybody thinks powerlifters are a bunch of meatheads that can't do anything other than actually, you know, push a weight in one direction. What they don't realize is how hard it is to do that, you know. And
Yeah.
anybody who says anything about powerlifting needs to get under a squat rack and then walk, you know,
Just learning how to use
600
the
pounds
suit.
out of a squat rack and then tell me how much non-athleticism that takes.
Yeah.
Just learning how to use the suit in powerlifting is a skill on its own.
Oh, that's a whole other
That's a
thing for
whole
me too.
thing.
Like everybody dogs powerlifting gear, you know, like, oh, well, it's this thing. To me, powerlifting gear is harder than actually raw lifting.
You have
Like,
to know how to
raw
use
lifting is like, oh, well, that's better because, you know, you're not cheating with all this gear. Bullshit. Those guys just can't use the gear because they're
Okay.
not real athletes.
That's exactly where I'm coming from, because anytime I've seen like powerlifters, they do the suit and then they don't do the suit, and I watched very little, so mind my ignorance. But it looks like with the suit, they're already like giving themselves a few more inches with it.
Yeah, you have to have kinesthetic awareness to use powerlifting gear.
So does it
period.
make
like,
it
you have to
easier?
know where your body is in
Makes it
space,
more.
or you're done.
Yeah.
You're like I squatted 750 pounds with one arm in a squat suit. And to do that, you have to be athletic. Like I'm okay. That sounded like I'm being an arrogant asshole, but
No, I'm trying to
like,
follow.
not at all.
You really do.
That's an accomplishment.
You can't just be, you can't just be strong. Like you got to have some control over your body.
So what is
to use the gear.
So the suit, is it a safety thing?
It's a
Or is
safe.
It was kind of it kind of that's where it came from. Like so, somebody got hurt and was like, "Oh, well, I'll wear this canvas. I'll wear jeans or something," and then realized that they kind of like tighten as you go into your squat, and so they're well, let's design this a little differently, and we'll add some layers to it, and then it became something that people use. And like, so I'm bench shirts where somebody tore a pec. So what does a bench shirt do? It takes all the weight off your chest as you come down, right? So
okay. So this is all coming from a guy that's never even used like a squat belt. I know nothing about like real powerlifting.
So using the gear, it's like you have to fight pressure. Like it doesn't feel like you're straining against your muscle. It feels like your body's being compressed, and you have to fight that feeling of being squeezed into nothing. And that's kind of what it feels like to wear a squat suit. It's pressure. That's insane. Yeah, it's more of a pressure thing. Yeah.
Whenever I wore mine, it was more of like it was displacing the weight off of. So like you said on the pecs, it would like displace the weight, and I would actually feel the weight activate more in my back muscles on the stability parts. It kind of made me feel like it was more of a control thing.
Yeah, definitely. You have to have some control for sure. Like
right,
you're not.
And like if you lean, it exaggerates either way, no matter what.
Yeah, one little millimeter off when you're benching in a bench shirt, and you're dumping it one way or the other. It's like it requires a lot of work. I mean, it takes a lot of time. I mean, you don't become a professional whatever powerlifter, if you want to call that, or somebody who's benching in the high weight area or the high amounts without lots and lots and lots of practice.
So it's like 1 millimeter and it's off now. Excuse me while I do this 190 pounds with one arm.
Right.
Yeah.
Gosh,
well, I mean, that's the same thing for me. I just have a whole other plane of stability to deal with, right? So like when you bench with two arms, you're only dealing with like, the horizontal, the side to side, right?
That's why I cannot believe you do it.
I'm just imagining him gripping my jujitsu collar and me trying to posture up. That keeps
You
going
can
through
give
my
that
head.
shit
Yeah,
up.
he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, you can give that
He's
shit
like,
up. You're
what?
just there. You're just there.
So, I started, I was still doing some martial arts while I was doing the powerlifting, and I was getting stronger and stuff. I think weighed about like 220 or something. And I grappled with one of the other students, and I was in his guard, right? And I let my arm out purposefully so he could try to armbar me from the guard. And I just kind of picked him off the ground all the way up into the air. And I was like, and he was like, well, I still got the armbar. I'm like, dude, what are you going to do when I like smash you into the ground?
He's got to work on his posture control.
Yeah. I mean, I came down with him and like gave him kind of a shot so that he, fell off my arm.
Oh yeah, no, I mean
it kind of made me realize what the reason why we have weight classes and stuff. I mean, there's just no. I don't care how much technique you have in the world. Like you could be Bruce Lee, but if you're fighting somebody with who knows what they're doing, who's 200 pounds heavier than him, it's just not. There isn't any kind of.
Yeah,
there's nothing that's going to make that fair.
The martial arts, and I think almost all martial arts are designed for, I know this art, but you're just a dummy wanting to fight me. I'm going to destroy you. Now, everything's equal except the weight. All right, now we need to, and I totally agree with that, and that's why there needs to be a legend division in MMA.
He even shared it.
Fuck out of my face.
He even shared it, Dylan.
Get the fuck out of my face.
You know what Vitor
so
wants?
So saying like no weight class?
No.
So
the old guys.
In jiu-jitsu, there's also age brackets. There's weight class and age brackets, and I'm saying that that's something that UFC should adapt. And Vitor Belfort has class. It's exactly legends, masters, whatever you want to call it. And Vitor Belfort is even on this. He's even come out and said that he wants one. And Dylan doesn't believe in it because he thinks that old men fighters should still have a brain when they're 70. And I don't think that whatever.
George Foreman still had a brain, and he was a heavyweight champ at like 42.
There you go. And he took powerful punches to the head.
I mean, he's not brain dead. That's just, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I get what he's saying, though.
we have
they've been down this road with me so many times, and my biggest ththing is the guys like Vitor, and they're right, fighting the younger guys. It's not fair. He's got so many more years on them, and they're knocking him out, and the whole idea of just having a bunch of old guys, like,
what? I mean, that would sell. That would sell, though. Like, I would go back and I would watch.
It would sell.
I would watch like all my nostalgic dudes fight. Like, Randy Coleman's back. Holy shit, I gotta see that fight. Ronnie Coleman. Wait, what's his name?
Coleman. Mark Coleman.
Yeah. Mark Coleman. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was thinking Ronnie Coleman, the bodybuilder. No. Mark Coleman.
Massive.
Yeah.
I thought that's who I thought you were meaning. I was about to say.
Met him a few times, by the way.
No. Yeah, Mark Coleman and Mark Kerr. Holy hell, I would love to see him fight again. He's probably dead, though.
They all need to go to China, where it's the Wild Wild West,
or
just roid up,
or Masters Division.
That's what Crow Cop did. Crow Cop went to Japan.
Did y'all see Vitor Belfort step on the scale yesterday morning? Dad bod as fuck.
Well, you can't be on testosterone replacement therapy that long,
No, that's funny you said something about that, because I just watched a video on YouTube about why the fat guys hit harder, like Mark Hunt and Fedor and all of them guys, because they have this core mass that accelerates different than somebody who is more trim around the core, and they can use that to their advantage when swinging a punch. Like, you're twisting your hips, you got all this goop going with you.
You say that, but Vitor Belfort 3 years ago, whenever TRT was legal, was the scariest human being walking the face of the earth. Like,
well, I mean, it rewinded the clock like 15 years.
I'm not taking it back from guys like Alistair Overeem or anything.
Exactly.
I'm just saying,
did you see what he was doing to people?
The dad bod shouldn't be.
He's just saying don't hate. Don't hate.
Yeah, don't hate on him.
It's possible. It's there. Ask Mark Hunt.
Yeah, Mark Hunt. Who's he? Mark Hunt versus Alistair Overeem. Is that who he's fighting next weekend?
Who's he fighting next? I don't know actually.
Yeah,
Mark Hunt.
Yeah, Mark Hunt's fighting.
Is it Alistair?
Is Alistair Overeem still eating the horse meat?
No, not anymore. Horse meat's illegal.
Yeah.
Horse meat.
Horse meat.
Mexican supplements.
I mean, I remember my introduction to him was K1, so it was like
bad.
The guy who has muscles on muscles.
Wait, was it K1 where he was 185, or was it K1 when he suddenly became 245?
Yeah. K1 when he came in at 190, and then K1 when he came in at 300 pounds. Horse meat.
That is
horse meat, man.
Forever one of the craziest transformations of an athlete of all time. Going from, what is he, 6'4"?
Yeah, he's up there. I think 6'4", 6'5".
190 trim, smooth, flat chest, like
it looked like a Muay Thai fighter.
Lean Muay Thai fighter, to just becoming this superhuman Superman.
I could never, it's like, for the longest time, I would never look at his face. All I would see is traps. Like, big.
Yeah, your eyes couldn't even look at his face. It was just trying to figure out what was
I was like, wait a minute,
silhouette.
where is his head? I don't understand.
In a matter of six or 8 months after the UFC implemented USADA, he immediately becomes this larger man with a little bit of a gut. I mean, he's obviously an athlete, but he looks human.
Yeah,
he went from being a Black Hulk to the human.
Black Hulk.
I haven't seen him lately, actually.
He
looks
is a
normal.
lot more human.
He looks normal.
He's still
impressive,
ripped, but he's not what he was by any means.
He doesn't
wasn't
look like
Lesnar.
a superhero.
The Lesnar Overeem, when he fought Lesnar,
That was ridiculous.
That was the most ridiculous.
That was ridiculous. You could cover up his shoulders, and it would look like a man popping out of his body.
Yeah,
it was retarded.
Oof! Like on occasion, you see the guy whose head no longer fits the body, and that's where he was with that fight.
And wasn't he suspended after that fight? Wasn't that whenever that gap came.
I want to say it was after that.
No, I think because he was lined up for a title shot, and
I
then
don't know.
they took him off. It's been so many years. Damn.
But yeah, no, USADA now does a lot of random drug testing and things like that.
I don't know what. I have no idea what that is.
The
I'm not going to
US
U.S. Anti-Doping Agency.
Yeah, the same people
Oh.
that do like the Olympics and
So like the ones that you can pay to.
Those are
put
the
your
ones
PM
that
for.
caught Michael Phelps, or
The-
not Michael Phelps.
the Lance Armstrong.
Lance
Lance
Armstrong.
Armstrong.
Oh, yeah. I
Oh,
just
they probably caught
man,
Michael
the
Phelps
whole
too.
like it's so disappointing to me that Lance got drugged through the dirt like that. Like
Everyone
like-
was doing it.
'cause- yeah, I'm saying like they only tested the winner. I mean, what about second, third, fourth, fifth, 20th place? They're all doing the same shit. It
And-
wasn't an uneven playing
Their-
field.
Their blood was so thick they would have to wake up in the middle of the night and go biking so that they didn't have a fucking stroke.
Yeah, I mean, it was for all of them. And yeah, I am not okay with Lance being drugged through the dirt like he was. Matter of fact, I don't know if you've ever seen, he did a podcast on Joe Rogan's show.
I listened to it.
Oh no, I'm gonna have to. I'm looking that up.
Yeah,
though. I love
it's like
Joe
it's
Rogan,
good.
man.
So
It's a
good.
3-hour
really good.
interview, and it is fantastic.
Hates Jeff
Oh,
Nowitzki.
I'll have to look that up because that would be interesting. I like watching everything with Joe Rogan in it.
Oh yeah, and he
I
did
used to
a,
hate him too when I first started watching UFC. I'm like, who's this scratchy voice punk man who thinks he knows everything? Like,
Yeah.
what the hell? And then I kept. I mean, I don't know. He turned into a pretty badass dude. Man.
well, you know, the funny thing about him is like you see him and you're like, oh, who is this guy? He knows nothing, and then you realize Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, multi-time
Yeah.
American
Taekwondo
national
champion.
Taekwondo champion. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
there was only 10 years off, and he would have probably been,
Yeah.
you know, elbow deep in the
Yeah,
UFC.
it just goes to show what ignorance does. Like I just didn't know.
yeah,
And then massively successful comedian. Like, he's got a crazy resume.
Yeah.
He's seen it all.
15
Kind of
different
everywhere.
hats.
He's kind of all over the place.
I just watched something on Netflix about him, like one of his stand-up comedy things. It was great. It was one of the funniest things I ever seen in my life, man.
Didn't
the
even know
guy
he was
is-
a comedian.
yeah, he's super talented for that stuff. Like I don't know. I've been kind of impressed with him lately.
Yeah.
Yeah, him and Boss Rutan was the other guy that
oh,
I
love
got
that
to
guy.
I got to meet because he was actually running a gym that wasn't too far from where I was training.
Yeah.
And we also got Oleg Tiktorov in to teach us some sambo back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an old school. He tried to teach us like 30 different things all at
Yeah.
once.
Heel hooks for
Yeah, we're
everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, no idea what the hell he was saying. Just
you grab the leg. What did he say?
Yeah.
Speaking of Russian,
Yes.
so I
His name
saw.
is Oleg.
I watched John Wick, and I'm only bringing this up through like a slight, like, because there were Russians in that movie. I watched John Wick last night, and that
the
was
second one.
no, the first one. I
You
didn't
just
even see
saw
the
the
first
first
one.
one?
I just saw the first one. That was so
yeah.
fucking cool.
Yeah, I have the first one. I haven't seen the second one yet. I've been looking forward to
I
that
need to
because
see
the
it
second
too.
one's supposed to be better. I
The
like,
first
don't
one
know how
was so
that could be.
good. I loved it.
Bet you didn't know Keanu Reeves was a badass.
Well, what's really cool
Yeah,
is how much mat time he actually spent training for those judo.
Not
Yeah.
even
and
just
stuff.
mat time,
Yeah.
gun training.
Yeah.
I seen
hours
that,
of
like
gun
him
training.
doing all that stuff, all that range training and everything,
And
for
good at
for that
it.
movie.
He
Yeah,
was like an assassin superhero.
Well, I think the thing that people
really?
forget about him is that he is the definition of a method actor. Like if he's going to become somebody, he in real life becomes that man, or actor or whoever it is. And yeah, he sold himself out for both the John Wick movies. And I mean, I'm glad about it because I think he's a good actor. And then, he just kind of falls by the wayside, and then he ends up making his own movies. And this John Wick's, took
Well, how
off.
tired of you are seeing fighting scenes in movies where the martial arts are just complete and utter bullshit?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's like the neck breaks in John Wick are legit neck breaks, like him putting him over his back, and or the upside down guillotines. Those are real.
right.
Those
not
are real
the,
neck
not the
breaks.
Arnold Schwarzenegger like
There's a
like
There,
twist thing and like he's dead.
I love the judo stuff and all that. I mean, but obviously, like, there's something. I think
to a
action
degree,
movies,
sure.
yeah, action movies. Just people are so
Yeah, a shotgun blast will send you 12 feet backwards.
Yeah. Or
No.
like our guy right here, like in any action movie, whenever the motorcycle crashes, well, he's instantly the dead bad guy. But James was hopping up, running around.
yeah.
They're trying to grab me, man.
Yeah,
He's
like
I'm running into traffic. What the hell's wrong with you?
Exactly. Like, we are so man, the human body is amazing.
Or to me, the greatest thing ever is the knockout. Right? You punch the guy, he gets knocked out,
and
he
never gets up.
There's no problem. He's going to be right there in the same room with me for the next 5 minutes and never wake up. Yeah. Whereas in real life, in MMA fights, even you see it. The guy's knocked out.
He's up.
The ref stops it, but before he even hits the ground,
he's up.
He's back conscious. He's going. What are you talking about? I'm good.
Yeah. Well, unless you're doing one of those knockouts that that you do the whole body flex and everything.
Exactly. Yeah. Or like John Wick, he choked this dude out and it was a good 10-second squeeze. The dude's unconscious and then he gets up and I think the movie just assumes that guy's dead and I'm like, no, well he's about to wake up in 10 seconds. Yeah. Like, he'll get back up.
Yeah, he won't I remember doing some when I was doing some martial art training, we were doing like rear naked chokes. And my brother and I were training together and one guy was kneeling, the other guy was doing the choke and like all of a sudden, I'm on the floor. I was up, and then I'm on the floor. I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell just happened? Like he knocked out both blood arteries or whatever, the veins and arteries. Yeah, and I went out that quick. Like it was almost instantaneous. But then I was back instantaneously.
Creeps up
like it was.
A lot of people don't realize that that's what a choke is. Like everybody thinks like, oh, somebody chokes me, well, I can hold my breath for this long. It's like, it doesn't matter how long you can hold your breath. You're cutting off your carotid artery.
Yeah, the difference between being strangled and being choked, for sure. Like,
strangled,
yeah.
And then
choked, you're cutting off the airway. Strangled, you're cutting off all the blood to the brain.
That's it.
Yeah, there's a time and place for both of those.
Oh yeah,
depends on how much I.
That's why you got to move that elbow to the. You got to move it to the Adam's apple, right? Yeah, so that you can get the best leverage on both sides of the neck. There.
Absolutely.
He's a beast. Yeah. So you started weightlifting, right? In 2006. What made you start competing? Would you say? What was the thing that was like, you know what? I want to put myself out there. I want to stand in front of other people that are complete strangers and show them, you know.
So my initial thing was I knew I wasn't really going to be able to compete against anybody else in the same weight class, right? Because I didn't have much of a bench. And my deadlift wasn't nearly, big enough. I mean, I could squat fairly well, but the rest of it was, off enough to where I wouldn't really compete. So it was more of like, I don't know, I was trying to compete against my own numbers, myself, like this is, and I do pretty well in front of people. Like I perform better, I think, when people are watching than when I'm on my own. Like if I'm trying to train in my garage or on my own at the gym, it sucks. But when somebody's watching me, I'm like magically stronger for some weird reason. So like that's part of it. Like kind of like, doing that. And then the environment of the whole thing, being around all these people like that are trying to do the same thing as me and, networking and all of that stuff, seeing that like it's actually a community, not a bunch of people that hate each other, there's actual community there. And that I could do something that everybody else could do was one of the biggest things. It was like, hey, I'm going to compete in something that everybody else does, but just in my current situation.
Yeah. Now, was your first competitions just regular competitions, how we say, with everybody? You wasn't in any sports special categories? You couldn't find anything like that?
I didn't do anything for like an actual disabled category until 2016.
Yeah.
So I've been competing in the able body stuff since 2012 to about 2016.
How bad does the dude that loses to the guy with one arm feel?
Yeah,
like,
well, I'm first place a couple times actually.
Gosh, those guys need to go home and rethink their whole lives.
I hope they do. I hope they sit down and go, you know what?
No, for me it was like a lot of people would come up to me and be like, well, I guess I'm going to quit. I'm like, bullshit, man. Try harder.
Yeah.
Go harder. Obviously, you can do more than you think you can do. Yeah. Don't quit.
Yeah. That should be like that should be a motivation for sure. Like, if I get strangled with a guy that's only having one arm, it's like, I need to go work 3 times as hard.
I mean, there was a jiu-jitsu video with the guy's missing
both legs?
No, just one.
Is it?
The one I'm talking about. There is a couple with the guy missing both legs.
I competed in the IBJJF, and we had a white belt prior service that he had stepped on an IED, lost both legs, and then had just one little gimp arm. and he was out there tearing it up. And I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah, the one I'm talking about in particular, I think you actually commented on it too. But he's
Was it the one where
missing right above the knee, and he arm locks a guy and uses the fact that leg's not in the way to insert it underneath the arm for the arm lock. And it's just like, I hope the other guy goes home.
He overhooked it with his good leg and swung under. It was a beautiful.
Yeah, he developed his own arm lock.
It was beautiful.
From that, and I mean, in many ways, you did this without anyone. There wasn't anybody that goes, whenever I lost my arm, this is how I balanced it, right?
Yeah. So there's a way to do a rear naked with one arm, and actually it leaves your other arm free. So like you scoop the same way, but then you come around behind your own neck, and then you push yourself over with your head. Now you've got the guy in basically a rear naked, and you've got a free arm to punch the shit out of him.
Yeah,
it's wonderful. Yeah. Of course, I can't, hit him with this thing, but still.
Well, maybe pop him with it a few times.
Yeah, just kind of like
90 degrees, baby.
Yeah, no. It would just tingle. It wouldn't really hurt.
The message would be sent, though, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'd be stretching them out that way, so.
Oh yeah, you're a long guy too, so I imagine the torque you could pull on the spine. But
I've tapped a few people out actually.
Yeah.
With it, so I mean, it's been a really long time though since I've done any of that. I kind of miss it, but it messed up my left elbow pretty good by the continuous impact of punching.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's just one arm. You're never doing 1-2s.
It was pretty brutal. It gave me some pretty bad tendonitis that I still kind of struggle with. Which is funny though that the weightlifting kind of cured it. But, that's supposedly bad for your knees and stuff, right?
Well, you just probably get more blood to it.
It's always been bullshit.
Yeah,
weightlifting is always helping connective tissue.
The stronger... I have one of my friends that trains at the gym. He has, no cartilage or anything in his knees.
And he's
there's nothing in his knees. They're bone on bone, but he's so strong and he's got so much mass that he can still function.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, the doctors are like, we don't know how you even walk, and he deadlifts 1,000 pounds.
That's why.
Whatever. Yeah, that's why exactly. Because he's strong as shit.
But
so that's what's been.
But he's probably not about to do those repetitive workouts. Like 12, 20 reps.
Well, I mean, to me, the thing of it all is every time I hear someone tell me they know how the human body works, is the moment I shut them out. That's the moment that it's like, nope, I'm not listening to you. Now, if you tell me you have a theory and you tell me what worked for you, I'll listen. But, everybody...
People ask me that a lot. They ask me, what do I do? How do I train? How do I get stronger? And my answer is always, try everybody's shit, and then whatever works best for you, absorb
nobody's body type's the same.
Right.
That's why I have a really big problem with people just printing shit off bodybuilding.com and just doing that. You can go try it. Yeah, try the workout, but you do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of
I like the Bulgarian method.
That's tough. Shit.
Low rep, high weight.
Yeah, the 5 of 5. That's what
5
I like.
by 5. Yeah. I mean, I try to incorporate a little bit of everything, but I think I respond best to it just depends. It depends on what I'm trying to do. Whatever I'm trying to do is how I'm going to train, because that's sort of something I brought from martial arts, military, whatever like that. If you're doing bicycle, somebody who's going to train to do a bicycle race is going to ride a bike.
Yes.
You're not going to. Yes. You're not running to train for a bicycle race. So if I want to push a weight one direction, I'm going to train pushing a weight in that direction.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense for me to do a bunch of random angles and stuff for a main movement. I'll do all that stuff for accessories and to build stability and strength in other parts of my body. But I mean, it's not some of the crazy stuff that they do nowadays with bands and chains and blocks and boards and crap all combined just doesn't make any sense. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's the thing, right? I can see, to me, a martial artist could maybe do lightweight with band training, right? Why? Because this guy may get locked in a grappling situation where he needs to constantly be pushing, and he's training his body to constantly be training that push. But a guy that's powerlifting, his job is to get it from here to here. So why would you sit there and try to train yourself some other way? You know, I agree.
I mean, I like training everything and doing all the philosophies and stuff like that, but for the main portion of it, I'm going to do whatever I'm trying to compete in. Right? So, like, I'll do a little bit of everything. Like, I like high rep volume stuff. Like, I like low rep stuff. But for, you know, if I'm going to do 1 rep at a competition, then that's what I'm going to train for, you know, like, or if I'm going to do like a CrossFit competition, then I got to do a whole bunch of reps. So
ain't shit to it, but to do it.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of what we've been playing around with here today is that you just got to get to it, right? Everything. You just attack it.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, we could talk about all the different kinds of stuff you could do. You just got to. It doesn't matter if you don't do it.
That's true. Get off the couch. Step 1.
And you know, to go back to kind of rewind, and you talked about those, was it years that you spent like waiting for it to get better, and then it didn't get better until you made it better and you found something to push yourself. Yeah. What was for a lot of people that find themselves in that situation and that don't just hop straight over that bump? What was it that transitioned your mindset from the, okay, I'm waiting to, okay, I've got to do this?
You know, like, I don't think there was any specific, like, moment or anything that was, like, you know, just clicked or whatever. It was more of just, I mean, just get in the environment. Get into an environment that will, you know, that you have to do something. Like, I mean, if you go, basically, you know, sitting around and waiting, I mean, that's, you know, you're going to be at a house or something, whatever. But if you, you know, just get in the car or whatever and go to the gym or go to wherever, go to the park, I don't know, go anywhere other than where you are, where you're sitting and waiting. It's just going to cause you to do something.
Yeah, because like, you're around people that are doing stuff. You're around people that are bettering themselves.
Just put yourself in an environment, and then no matter what, you try it all. I mean, you're going to fail, obviously. You know, I failed at benching a lot of times. I failed at deadlifting a lot of times. Didn't really understand what I was doing with the squat. You know, it took me a while to figure out how to lift stones. You have to fail to get better. I mean, every time you fail, you learn something, and you get a little better.
And
eventually you get it.
Yeah, and don't go home and turn on the TV and say, I'll do it after this episode.
Yeah.
Procrastination, man, that's a good one right there. That gets me a lot.
I mean, to me, it's a big truth of there's so many people that think they're tired at the end of the day, right? They think they're worn down, they're stressed out, and, just give myself a few minutes and then I'll go run or Nah, bruh. That's the worst thing you can do. Straighten that stuff out in your mind halfway through the run. Straighten that stuff halfway through. Just get there. You know, I mean, I can't tell you how many times, even at jiu-jitsu, I am mentally just feeling beat down before I even get there. You know, I'm in the Army still. I have a high-stress day. You know, I barely get to jiu-jitsu on time sometimes, and I'm like, oh, God. But then halfway through the warm-up, I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. Chugga. I'm going now. I'm moving now, you know, and I think that's true so often and it's going to feel that way anytime you start something really bad first.
And you know what though? Like that carries into even when you started. Like I have those days too. Like you're saying. I mean,
it never goes away.
You get to the gym and you're like, why the fuck am I here? I don't know what I'm doing here. Like, I don't want to do this. Everything hurts. And then you start warming up and you're like, all right. And then you have your best lift day. You're like, this makes no sense. Like, I don't understand what's going on. Why is the weight light now all of a sudden? Yeah.
And that's the beauty of messages like that to me is that they transcend all. You know, you want to get that next promotion at job? Guess what? Go to bed a little earlier, wake up a little earlier, get there a little earlier.
Yep.
Prep yourself a little early. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's just the truth. You talking about you went back to school, right? Yeah. You just had to go back to school. You just had to go to class. You had to just take notes.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, there is no, like, nobody's going to, you know, you can't wait for something in your head just to go out. Well, it's telling you to do it now. You just walk in the door, put yourself in the environment. It'll happen. I mean, then you have no choice almost, you know? It's like, I don't know. It's hard to I've never really been able to look back and see one specific moment that was like, click. It's time to go do something. It was never like, it was never like that. It was always, it just kind of one foot after the other, and then I ended up there. Yeah.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing, is that you were willing to take the journey. I think more than anything, you were just taking journeys. You went somewhere with an ex-girlfriend. You was like, yeah, I'll go with you.
Which, by the way, sounded like a terrible mistake when I was first hearing your story. You said I moved in with my ex-girlfriend. I was like, no.
No. She's an ex now. I moved here when she was my girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. That needed clarification.
Only to you.
No,
That would have been fine.
You said ex-girlfriend. I was like, no, she's getting you while you're down. Like, it's the wrong place to be.
He's got a very special little mind.
Yeah,
He's the reason we have warning labels.
Yes, yeah. The don't drink the bleach label, made for him.
Yeah, right.
It smells clean. I feel dirty.
I mean, it gets the goo off you. You're lifting stones, you got that crap all over you. Using Goo Gone, it's melting your skin, but whatever.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
So what did you go back to school for? What do you do now for your daytime job?
I'm a technical engineer. Well, that's what I went to school for. So, all of the drafting stuff, CAD and all of that, so basically
fuck CAD.
Yeah, basically.
Fuck CAD.
I design. I can do anything for, like civil engineering or anything like that, basically. So we draft plans up and stuff for road work or.
Yeah. Did you have to do the manual drafting in school? The actual drawing on that stupid board and.
We did some. Yeah, I had to do all the pencil drawing and stuff, drafting as well. So I had to figure that out. That was fun.
Wow.
I ended up with a bunch of paperweights to hold the ruler down and stuff like that. Yeah. And I ended up working out all right.
Yeah.
Getting crafty.
Well, see, that's the thing.
A lot of tape. Tape was my friend. Also not my friend, though. When it sticks to you, you can't get it off. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, yeah, because you...
Now, do you do any, wrist wraps or anything when you lift weights, or...
I mean, okay, so one of the other things is I started training... And I don't put on the stuff until it gets to a point where I need it. I'm a pretty big believer that you should train without that stuff first. And then as you start to get more advanced, as you start to put more, muscle on your body and stuff like that, then you can support it like that. I mean, when you go straight into that stuff, it's you don't give your body a chance to get strong there.
Yeah, absolutely.
To help support, right? So, but yeah, I end up putting wrist wraps on when I get to certain weights and stuff. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. It's weird because I don't need it for some things, and I need it more for other things. Like using dumbbells, I basically never need a wrist strap, regardless of how heavy it is. And then, but when I'm using a straight bench bar, that one I really need one. Then it helps me with the torque, the twisting. Yeah. And
so you grab the middle of the bar when you do bench, right?
Yeah.
And. Mm-hmm. And then basically, you were saying, you kind of turn your body to get that up, and
it looks more ridiculous than it really is. It's just a giant dumbbell, really, is all it is.
Don't overthink it here. Just pick it up.
Yeah, don't overthink it. It's not like some kind of magical thing. No, it's just a big dumbbell. That's all it is. So, however, if you wanted to bench, if you wanted to try it out, get one dumbbell, lay on a bench, figure out how you set up for that, and then do the same setup for the bar, and then you're done. It's good, perfect.
Do you think it'd be easier if the bar was shorter on the bench press for you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The center of the gravity would.
The center of gravity. Yeah, and obviously with a dumbbell, because the weight's so close to you, you don't go down as far because the weight hits you, right? Okay. So you don't have that extra distance to travel like you do with the straight bar. So It's a lot, it's a lot more difficult, but in some ways, in my opinion, it's a little easier because the weight's so far away from you. It's a lot more stable in your hand. It's just a lot harder to control. So it's give and take some with that.
Now
you have to try it, dude. Give it a shot, and then you'll understand.
Yeah. Now the thing that I guess fascinates me about this more than anything is that you learn these techniques on your own, by and large, right? I mean, it's not like you found some sort of coach that was this is his specialty or anything. Nope. It was James wants to do this. James gonna go find it. James gonna go figure it out.
Yeah, it was trial and error.
Look what Zog do. Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, like some of the biggest things that I figured out were, I've been mentioning the bench a lot, but like when you set up on the bench, you have to consider yourself a 3 points of stability rather than 4, right? So like if you lay down with 2 arms, both shoulder blades are on the bench and on, in the normal spot, right? Because you don't have to deal with the side because you have both arms on there, right? So if you have one, you have to slide your body over so that the one shoulder blade is in the center of the bench. So that way, that is that's the center of balance. So like all you have to do is slide over a little bit, and then that creates all the stability you need. I mean, you still have a lot of torque in your midsection, but that prevents you from falling off to the side that you're benching. So like stuff like that I had to figure out. It was a lot of, playing around with setup on it. And
you're smarter than me.
Sounds incredibly hard.
No, I mean, I find that beautiful that, it was just basically you and that bench, and you had a conversation with it. All right, this is what we're going to do. You had to mentally talk yourself
through it. Keep trying until figure it out. I'm no different than anybody else, though. Like, anybody could do what I can do. It's just you have to have you have to be in a position to do it. Yeah, that's why it seems so sensational. But I'm no stronger than anybody else. Yeah. I just do it, with one arm, which seems crazy because nobody else does.
Well, that's something I was going to ask you. Is do you have other guys and other amputees that come to you? Wanting to do that for advice.
Yeah. So that was a very eye-opening thing for me. Kind of like sort of deep emotional thing for me. The last time so that stone video I posted, went viral, and I started getting all these messages and stuff from people like all over the planet, asking me about, hey, I have a brachial plexus injury. Like, what? This is crazy. I didn't know I could do this stuff. Like, this is so inspirational. And some guy was telling me how like he was super depressed and stuff, and was like taking drugs and crap, and then ended up coming across my Instagram page, and then like ended up turning himself around. Like, he was like remotivated and stuff, realized that that it wasn't the end and all that. And that to me was like, I couldn't ask for anything else. Like, no amount of money or anything like that could ever replace that kind of impact that I've had on other people. To me, that's like, that was more worth more to me than anything else so far.
Well, that's the beauty of the internet, right? Is that was able to get out there and then more than anything, everybody. Yeah. And hey, God bless you for being able to receive it, and
Yeah, for the longest time I never felt like I deserved any praise, just because I wasn't really doing anything more than anybody else. I just I was doing it with one arm, like, oh, well, I'm not benching that much. I shouldn't get all this credit. I'm not deadlifting all that much. Like it was weird because basically, from everything that I've done so far, it's like I had to earn my belt. I had to earn my stripes. I had to earn my place in the gym. I had to, earn my right to go compete. All of that kind of stuff. So it was weird. Like I felt like I had to earn enough, or I had to have enough strength or whatever to earn the right to have the praise and all that. So it was weird at first accepting it, but
no, man, I think we can all say that, screw anybody that says they don't want to get out and get moving. I mean,
yeah. And that message you're sending out to people and all the lives you're impacting, the motivation that people feel whenever they watch your video, the only bad thing that comes from this is the people that get that motivation and then don't do anything with it.
Mm-hmm.
So to anybody that goes and watch James do some badass shit, whenever you see that, you hold that and then use it. That's what I think, because I know a lot of people that get inspired and get motivated and they just get so pumped up, and then as soon as the YouTube video's off or the Instagram clip is over, they're back on the TV. So it's awesome to hear, especially other amputees taking your message and then using that to change their lives and fix their situation.
That's huge to me, man. That's one of the things that I always was hoping that, that this could directly impact somebody to get out there faster than I did. Like, hey, it took me this amount of time to do this. I can help. Hopefully this helps you get there much faster. Like, I'm not kidding myself either. I'm not like expecting to go out and be like, hey, I'm going to train you, or something. This guy's got the same kind of injury. I'm going to train you, and I'm going to show you how to do all this stuff so that you can end up being in the same place I am. It doesn't work that way. Like, they have to do it themselves. Like, they have to want to. They have to, they have to have the drive. Like, I can only,
you can only point the direction.
So that's like the big thing is when somebody asks me a lot of that stuff, like, well, how do you do this, that, and the other thing? And my answer always is, you have to try it all and you have to figure it out. You have to adapt it yourself. Here's some key things that'll help you get there quicker, but there's no special formula for anything. It's
no
just
shortcuts.
Trial and error and hard work, man.
Now you're saying that, was it last year was the first time that there was an adaptive type category out there? I mean, that's only been for the last few years, right? That there's those type of categories out there.
Yeah, there's been disabled strongman for quite some time now. I think since I don't know how many years, maybe 5 years or something. But it was all in Europe. It was in Iceland and stuff.
Okay.
And I had heard about it a long time ago, like maybe 3 years ago or so, maybe 4 years now. And I was super amped and I wanted to do it, but there wasn't anything around here. So I kind of just, I just kind of kept with what I was doing. And at the time I was at a gym that didn't have any of the implements. Like, it didn't have the stones or the, any of the stuff for strongman, which is a big thing too. Like, if you want to do any of this stuff, you got to go to a gym that has it. Like, you can't just, go somewhere like the LA Fitness or something and then expect to go do disabled strongman. Like, if you're that type of person, you're in a similar situation, put yourself in the environment that will, allow you to get better, allow you to learn how to do it. And that's, you got to find a gym that has the stuff. That's the big thing.
A diss on Planet Fitness?
Yeah.
But they got so many cardio machines.
But yeah, for sure. That's always been a big thing for me, is like, it wasn't ever here. And then eventually it got here. So I got super pumped, and like, I think I competed in the, America's Strongest Disabled Man in 2016 with 3 months of practice.
Right.
Like, that's all the amount of time, and I got second place in the standing category. So, I mean, it was pretty cool. Like, I was, super happy about that. But I mean, I didn't have much time. That goes to show, how much just hard work pays to make you strong. Period. Like,
oh yeah,
anything will help. Do something. It doesn't matter what it is. You got to do something.
Yeah. So you had a good baseline. It's not like you only trained for 3 months. It's you had been training, but then
never
specified
stopped.
for 3.
Yeah. Before that,
I was only able to train with the implements for 3 months, like stones and stuff like that. Yeah.
Now the thing I'm most happy about is that the need is filled. What I'm most sad about is that I didn't know the need there wasn't a type of competition out there like that. That, my ignorance on it, I didn't know that there wasn't a category like that out there. You almost assume in today's age, oh yeah, we got something for everybody on everything.
Somebody's doing it.
Somebody's doing it, but no, it wasn't here, and I'm glad it is here. And I mean, and I'm glad.
And, it's still not enough too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's still in its infancy.
It's still got to keep going. Yeah, so that's the one thing too that I appreciate about the fact that some of the stuff that I've posted has gone viral. It's put out the word. I've tagged all the disabled strongman stuff. I mean, so like people know that that's out there now. Like you guys, for instance, you didn't know, now you know.
Yeah, I mean,
so like the word of mouth just gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah, here I am.
Great for this stuff.
Yeah, here I am in the backside of the swamp, and I know it now. So.
Yeah, I mean that's good, because then not only does the word get out to the people that can help make it happen. It gets out to the people that are in the situation. Like, because I didn't know that any of that was around. I didn't know. Like, if I had known that there was something out there that I could compete in, maybe I've gotten started sooner. I don't know. That's a big thing for me too. Is like competition is awesome because it allows you to. I mean, it's something to work for. Like, if you just go into the gym or whatever, if your goals are, all I want to do is lose a couple pounds, right, or whatever. That goal isn't really necessarily something that's going to continue to push you on. Like, you need some big thing. Like, all right, well, after this competition, I'm gonna go out in front of all these people and lift. Well, I don't want to look like a fool, so I'm gonna work my ass off. You know, like that helps push you harder than just some silly little like couple pounds goal. Like, have some athletic, goal that you want to achieve. Like, I want to run the Spartan race or something. Like, just some kind of big thing that you have to go for, rather than just losing weight and then all of a sudden you've lost weight. Like, it all, like everybody that's in the that's looking to, just like be healthy and stuff like that. It's never going to work unless you have some kind of big thing pushing you. In my opinion, anyway.
I think you have that story basically right. When you was going through your rehab, was to get home, start your jiu-jitsu career, start your MMA career.
Exactly.
And you were blowing those guys out of the water with your recovery. So
and I think one of the best ways I've ever heard it phrased is it's not that everybody aims big and misses, it's that so many people aim small and they hit. Mm-hmm. Like they hit that little bitty target and then they make that target and then there's nowhere to go from there. Just like you said, it's people that I want to lose 5 pounds, they lose 5 pounds. They're like, yeah, I lost 5 pounds. And that's the end of their fitness. That's the end of that.
And then it's all right back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you might as well just aim to be Arnold. And of course you'll never be fucking Arnold, but along the journey to be Arnold, you're going to be somewhere awesome.
You might get there. You might get part of the way there and realize, holy crap, look what happened to me. Like, this is crazy. Exactly. I never expected myself to be in the position I'm in now. When I started, are you kidding me? Like, I had no idea. I was just some little kid. I didn't know anything about anything. About any weightlifting stuff or anything.
Have ridiculous goals.
And be jealous of that goal, I think. Build the idol of who you want to be and then be jealous of who you want to be. I want to be me, 10 pounds bigger lean muscle. I want to be me as a brown belt. That's something I'm doing to myself right now. I want to be me as a, martial artist and be jealous of that guy and then go pursue that, goal. I think more than anything, you can covet yourself. That's not a mortal sin.
I love where that conversation went. Absolutely.
Well, James is an awesome guy, man. You're an awesome dude.
An inspirational dude.
Good.
Very.
Yeah, appreciate it.
What's the next thing on the horizon for you? Is there a competition coming up? What's the next thing for you?
I've been training for a powerlifting meet in Minnesota called Relentless. It's a huge event for charity that raises a bunch of money for kids that have terminal illnesses or just not necessarily terminal, but something pretty heavy like that. And so basically all the athletes set up a little charity page and try to raise money for the event. And I did it last year. Yeah, I did it last year for Detroit. Detroit, Michigan had a Relentless meet, Relentless Detroit, and we ended up raising like $500,000 or something like that for the charity.
That's
and
good.
So
it's a really interesting thing when all these children come in with stuff that like all I have is a paralyzed arm and some nerve pain. These kids are dealing with some crazy things. It's so like incredibly humbling, and the amount of perspective it creates is it helps put yours. It helps. Well, I don't want to say it helps you because it just puts your own pain and stuff into perspective, your own situation. Like everything, there's always something that could be worse. There's always something that could be better, So like, it just and then these kids they come up and they like sit around the stage and they get all pumped up when you're lifting and like they go up there and they're like hitting your fist, they're giving you all that stuff and screaming and yelling when you're lifting. It was a pretty interesting experience for me with the fact that all the lifters were there for that, not to win, like not necessarily specifically to win the meet. It was like there for that. So
right,
it was a really different environment, and it was pretty cool. So
send me a message whenever you get your Facebook post or Instagram post set up. We're going to share that. I need to be a part of that. I think we all need to be a part of that in some way.
Just when you thought James couldn't be any more awesome, then you find out he competes for charity of sick kids. You're the salt of the earth. Salt of the fucking earth.
So the Relentless meetup in Minnesota is something like, I don't know what he said, like 1,000 families or something show up for this thing. There's like a bunch of people. And one of the things is that you can, unfortunately, I think I'm a little too far away for it, but you can like pair with one of the families that has a kid with something similar to what you have. So I think one of my goals eventually here is to try to do that with some kid who's got the same kind of situation as me. And I mean, if I can come out there and, show them that it doesn't matter that one of your arms doesn't work. Look what I could, that'll.
Oh yeah. Now,
I feel like that'd be a really good impact.
I was going to ask that. Is there any sort of goal in your future of maybe owning your gym or anything like that someday?
I've always kind of led more toward like I'd like to just be more of like not necessarily like the
more mentor than instructor,
speaker or anything like that. I just I like to go out there and motivate people through example.
Just do it. He's a man of action.
Yeah, if I was going to hold a speech or something like that, motivational speech, I'd want it to be in the gym or something where I could be like, working out and doing it at the same time and like involving everybody. That would be my motivational, event, whatever. My seminar would be like that. It wouldn't be just standing there preaching to these people because, that's like you said, Dylan. I mean, as soon as I'm done watching stuff, it's over. It's like they watch the video or whatever and then it's over and
they just go back to their day.
Just go right back to the couch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the world we live in now. It seems.
So, I'd want to involve them in something, come participate in the motivational thing, not just watch it.
Now, as long as you don't make me lift a truck, because I did see you could lift a car.
Okay, so I got 2 reps with that this year. I didn't get any last year, and I ended up getting 2 this year.
Title the speech: 2 reps, 1 arm.
Yeah.
That's so badass.
I ended up deadlifting the car for 2 reps. I was pretty pumped about that. Yeah,
that's awesome.
I say
so the events still aren't scaled very well for all the different disabilities, which is kind of a weird thing for me because it's kind of disappointing because the only it's the event for people that are like me that are disabled, but yet it's still geared toward more of all these guys, they have 2 arms, so we have these events.
Yeah, like the Atlas Stones and stuff like that. The bench press, it is kind of designed for that.
Yeah. And my injury is pretty rare. You probably. I don't know how many people you're ever going to meet that have a brachial plexus injury.
You're the second for me.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's got to be hard too, because how many people with a brachial plexus are doing powerlifting? So it'd be really hard to specify.
Yeah. It's pretty rare. It's pretty rare to find anybody doing anything athletic with a brachial plexus injury. So, for me to sit here and say, hey, well, they need to have this category for me specifically is kind of stupid, but.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're killing it either way.
It's tough for me because I've been competing against able bodies for so long. Like I got this mindset that I'm there to compete for myself and against myself and, show people that they can do all this stuff. And now that there's a category for me, I want to go compete and actually be competitive against these other guys, but I can't really because it's still too much of a discrepancy between, what we're doing, what they're doing, stuff like that.
Absolutely.
I was super pumped about this last event though. I was able to get all the sandbags. The last sandbag was 300 pounds. I was able to pick it up and move it to another
barrel and stuff. And,
Wow.
I don't know if I can do that
haven't
with both
posted
of
any
those
of those videos yet, but I've got all that stuff.
You gotta post it. I'm gonna
So
motivation Monday somebody. Get off the couch,
You're
you.
a Motivation Monday, everybody.
I mean, so it was like an Atlas Stone event, but it was a sandbag, so you were able to manipulate it a little more. Is that?
Yeah. And instead, they were sitting on top of the 55-gallon drums, and we had to pick them up from one and then transport it to another.
Oh yeah. That's way more. Yes, absolutely. The leverage in there is way better.
I mean, I ended up using my arm like a rope, so I like flung my arm around it and grabbed it, so I could pick it up like so. But yeah, it's a little different when you have when you're. I mean, it's stupid for me to say that, but like when you're missing like part of your leg underneath your knee or something, it's a little different doing a sandbag like that than it is with.
Well, I imagine so.
I'm kind of looking forward to getting the word out there so there can be more competition for me specifically, because like that drives me. I love competing. It's great. Not to, crush somebody's heart and soul. I mean, everybody likes to win. Don't get me wrong. The whole idea of the competition helps drive me, like I want to compete. I want to do the best I can. I want to like it.
Absolutely.
Well, James, this has been 2 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Well, shit.
Has it been 2 hours?
It's been 2 hours, and this was awesome.
It was.
We're gonna have to have you on again in a few months or something.
We
man.
will.
I'd be happy to. Maybe I can make my way down there and actually sit at the
That
table.
would be amazing.
You let me know when, and I will move heaven and earth to make it happen, brother. When was that next event? That reckless event again?
What I'll do is I'll find a competition down there in Louisiana somewhere. And compete.
Good luck.
Yeah,
Yeah, good luck with that. But still, that'd be amazing.
Well, I'll pick up this table and move it wherever we need to go. No, but I appreciate this. This was fantastic. This was great. This was I appreciate it.
No,
Seriously.
Words can't do this justice.
No, I'm not even going to
No,
bother
I
trying
think
to.
that you guys, that you wanted to hear it, want to hear the story, want to help get it out there. It's awesome.
Well, I think
You
more
guys-
than anything, other people will want to hear it.
Yeah, other people need to hear this.
Yes.
If they're half as pumped up as I am right now talking to you, then we'll be doing fine.
What's great too is it pumps me up to tell the story and to get you guys going too. I'm about ready to go to the gym myself.
He's got to go bump a workout now.
Just a little bump, get myself back head straight.
Yeah, I gotta go deadlift, so
Go get it.
maybe 400 pounds or so.
Ooh.
Oh man, I am not a man. James is a man. I am not. All right.
If the bar ain't bending, you ain't working.
Yeah. Well, let's wrap this up here, and we'll talk a little bit after this. We're not going to hang up on you, but say bye in this podcast for everybody.
Yeah.
From Gorilla Banner Studios, I'm Brock Washington. Dylan,
Goodbye.
Matt,
Bye-bye.
James, say bye to the world.
Bye, world.
All right. Until next time, my simians. So long.